All right, Leo, you were talking about medical records and President Biden. Why don't you elaborate?
You know, Judge, we would have to be very naive and turn our heads to ignore the obvious fact. Tommy mentioned it. You've referenced it. Everyone knows something is wrong with Joe Biden. I'm not a medical doctor, but why don't they present Dr. Joe Biden's medical examiner? Let's ask some serious questions about his mental quickness, alertness, his physical capabilities. I want to know because he is in charge of this country. And he's the most powerful man in the world. I don't want Kamala Harris to be president. I want to know if Joe Biden is physically and mentally fit to be president.
Tommy?
Yeah, well, it's a question every American should be entitled to ask. But of course, the mainstream media isn't, which is really quite ironic because they spent 4+ years talking about the mental instability of Donald Trump. But once again, they turned a blind eye to what is right there in front of them. You know, we talked about this last week after the stumble, after he referred to Kamala Harris as President Harris. The American people deserve answers on this. And I wish the left would pay half as much attention to the medical records of Joe Biden as they did to Donald Trump's tax returns. Then maybe we could actually get somewhere. But the American people have every right to ask these questions and have it answered. It's not indecent. It's not inappropriate. It's our right to know. He's the leader of the free world. He's a leader of our country, whether we voted for him or not. We deserve these answers.
Well, I would venture a guess that no one will even bring up the issue of the 25th Amendment, which is something I constantly brought up with President Donald Trump. But, you know, there is clearly a double standard here. And I seem to recall every president having a physical and then, then they release to the public, he's well, his health as well, his heart as well, and, his cholesterol or whatever. But I don't think we're going to get an answer to that too soon. But let's talk about some of the Democrat-run cities. When we talk about the crime that's going on in this country and some of the problems, not just now in terms of crime, but in terms of the Democrat cities that have been closed down, that's taking away from individuals their ability to actually go to work and live the American dream. I mean, it's usually the Democrat-run cities, Leo, that are closed and that are not giving people a chance at working.
You're absolutely right, Judge. The Democratic city, let's be honest, they're nightmares. I live in a Democratic city, Los Angeles. It's a nightmare. The state is a nightmare. That's why we're recalling Governor Newsom. The point is very simple. The Democrats like to live the life. Pardon?
Is it going to work? The recall. Will the recall
If we get
work?
Rick Grinnell to run,
will he be voted out?
The recall is going to go on the ballot. There's only one Republican who could beat Gavin Newsom, and that is Rick Grinnell.
Okay. All right. Tommy, what do you think?
You know, I also think that we're going to recall greasy Governor Gavin Newsom. I actually fled to Tennessee about a year ago for that exact reason, and you're seeing so many flee and unfortunately bring their blue state policies into our great red states. But furthermore, I want to go back to these Democrat-run cities. We have the stimulus money that are going to these cities and these states. I believe that absolutely should have been tied to reopening. If you don't have a full reopening and an unmasking, you shouldn't receive federal dollars. You shouldn't be rubber stamping those kind of policies. We need to reopen this country. We're going to look back at this time in history as the most ridiculous time we've lived through. People want to get back to work. They don't want to wait for a check in the mail. They want to get their businesses open and get back to actual normal, not this new normal. The time has come. Look at states that have done that. Look at states like the state I'm in right now, Florida, and they have comparable rates to states like California. So it is absolutely time to reopen, and they shouldn't get a penny more until they're willing to do that.
Well, I doubt that the government will agree with you, Tommy Lahren, but a lot of people do, including me. Leo Terrell and Tommy Lahren, thanks so much for being with us tonight.